Hey guys, Matt Dog here with another video. The dual triangle has been going on, so the light attributes, the dark attributes, and the fire attributes are all going at each other with limited ban lists. And I've had a lot of fun bringing Eldlich to this festival. So I'm going to show you two variants today. The first uses a little engine called Primite. So the Primite engine is this thing that mostly Blue Eyes players can use, but really anyone who has normal monsters easily accessible in their deck can take advantage of getting a free Omni Negate slash Banish per turn. And guess what Eldlich does? It has its trap monsters can be special summoned as normal monsters, allowing them to use the Primate engine. Or at least I think they can. So this festival was a great way to show off that tech. So here we're going first against sort of a Buzzsaw XYZ water deck. Um, Gamma Seal, Psyframe Gear Gamma is a tech that allows us to also have a normal monster that we can special summon using the continuous spell. It's a super powerful hand trap, but the downside is you have to use the normal monster. But whatever. Torrential Tribute, pop everything, use Elixir to summon a monster. So in this case, it was mostly just standard Eldlich control. I summoned the Conquistador so we can get the engine moving faster. Pot of Extrab, you love to have a Pot of Greed in your Eldlich decks, and this variant doesn't care too much about its extra deck. A lot of duplicates and triplicates are the optimal play. Wing Spider, Soul Hat Rabbit just facilitates our plays going a lot faster. So now we get a Conquistador, we can banish to get a Waquero. We activate the Primite Worldly Lord, so now every turn we get a non-targeting or a targeting Omni Negate slash Banish. Another thing that's great about Primite Eldlich is Eldlich is inherently a control deck, right? So like you have these super powerful interruptions to stop your opponent, and then every turn you get a lot of these super powerful interruptions coming back every turn, and that's the whole thing with the Primite engine is just every turn you're getting back Drill Beam. So first Eldlich, we're gonna grab an Eldlich card. We're gonna cycle through our Eldlich cards in hand so that we get our non-targeting destroy on the field, and we have our Primite cards. So first Eldlich, we can send the Drill Beam. The Drill Beam can reset itself for free, and Eldlich could use. Honestly, he could have just grabbed a Primite Lordly Load too as fuel, but whatever. In this case, we use that because we have the Omni Negate online, and we have a little bit of engine. So what do we have? We have three interruptions: non-targeting destroy, a targeting Omni Negate, and then Karma Cannon or Torrential or whatever we need. Great. What are we going up against? Salamangreat. Okay. Yeah, this was I should have waited for them to make the level 3 XYZ. That's the card you really wanna negate and banish with Drill Beam. But whatever. I guess I'm just hoping that they have nothing. And they had nothing, so whatever. Sometimes they only have one card and you just banish it and then they're done. But yeah, that was more just an example of what a typical going first setup looks like, which is your Eldlich engine for an interruption or two, Drill Beam for a super powerful interruption, and then hopefully some other traps like Solemn Strikes or Karma Cannons, Trap Tricks, whatever. Alright, so now we're going to have some going second duels as well. Trap decks, in theory, struggle going second, but in the festival it's not been so bad because decks have a lot harder time building up this massive board full of Omni Negates. I feel like the two strongest decks that you're gonna face from the white side are like Fire Kings and Tearlament, but in this case we're facing off against this feels like it's like the starter deck or something, or like the one they give you for free. It has these traps that require them to tribute wind monsters, but then they get a summon negate, or this one gets a banish negate, which is why we don't summon out our Eldlich. Let's see how this goes. Another 3 interruptions, pretty standard. Alright, non-targeting destroy will take out the field spell, and because Elixir is going to limit what we can summon, we chain Ice Dragon's Prison just so we get a use out of it this turn. We get rid of the monster that had some sort of an interruption. Okay, we've only got one negate and destroy. Can't be destroyed, I guess. They do banish the Eldlich, but it's good that they use that now. It's good that they use that now. We have multiple Eldliches. They get a draw if we special from the hand, or from the deck rather, but we're going to summon from the hand instead. GG. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Yeah, this is probably a little late for other folks. Seems like a lot of people want to post their videos about what they were doing in the festival within the first day or two, so that people have a lot of time to like experiment as they're grinding up. But there's still like a week left in the festival, and I'm still going to be playing it most days to try to get my gems. So hopefully y'all find this interesting. Like, I always like to experiment with new engines, new things we can pair with Eldlich. And I already have like a full Blue Eyes Primite deck, so throwing in a Primite engine was kind of free for me. And I don't know, I like it. It's hard to get great duels out of the uh, like I will say one downside to using the Primate engine as like a YouTuber is that there are way too many duels where I just activate a Primate card and then my opponent instantly scoops because they assume I'm doing like Blue Eyes Primite, which Blue Eyes is probably the best deck in this format certainly, and arguably the best format in the ranked ladder too. Pot of Extra, do they have that Omni Negate counter trap? Nope. Okay. Cursed Eldland. Okay, so they did have some sort of a back row interruption, so it's good to bait that out with Eldlich. Although you could argue it's not really baiting it out, because Surgeon and Eldlich is an interruption. But then again, so is this. They're going to flip Ether Barrel, which, if we were running Blue Eyes, would mean we wouldn't be able to, you know, link summon. But mostly I think they're doing this to fuse into the big fusion monster. Nope, not yet. Okay. Kalos, what is she going to send or search? Get a fuse. I'm assuming this is going to be the big... No? Okay. Alright, so not a very intimidating board. We can handle this super easily. Karma Cannon's going to keep us alive at the very least. Oh yeah, this I felt really bad as soon as I did it. I should have put down the Huaquero, because if I put Huaquero down, then Primite Drill Beam would be live, which is the whole reason that I'm running the Primite engine in this deck. So I ended up saving another duel where it comes up, but yeah, I feel really bad. Yeah, right here I would have negated and banished Tearlements Kalos, because Drill Beam says that if you control a normal level 5 monster, which Huaquero is a level 5 normal monster. Alright, they're popping off. Popping off. Happiness, sure. Gonna wait until all 3 monsters have at least declared an attack so that I keep them down for next turn. Goodbye. Okay. Summon out an Eldlich. We won't make that the same mistake again, hopefully. Trap Trick. Ice Dragon's Prison, just so that we have it. Because if they want to fuse on my turn, I don't want to miss the timing by using Trap Trick to get to Ice Dragon's Prison first, but whatever. Okay. Eldlich, we're going to send probably back row. Okay, well that's too bad. They're going to get some advantage off of that. Why would they use Called By on the second effect, but not the first effect? Oh, because they want this trap in the grave. Gotcha. Okay. Anyways, we can use Primite Drill Beam, reveal that we have a Primite card in hand, negate and banish Called By. And now Eldlich is going to come back. We're going to destroy 2 of these cards by battle. And we're going to special out the Gamma card. Or we're just going to grab Primite Ether Barrel right away. He's going to set another Primite card. And I don't really care what they do, even if they hit a fusion monster, we can just banish the fusion monster in grave with Ice Dragon's Prison. But we've got another Drill Beam. Yep, I'm just going to grab another monster to just attack into everything. Oh, no, we're going to Black Luster Soldier. You can tell that I can't remember some of these duels. It's been a day or two. Okay. Yeah, because we do want to banish the big fusion instead of leaving it in their graveyard, or they can keep recurring effects. Alright, we got a Conquistador, and we have a normal monster. I thought about trying to find some sort of a normal monster that's like a level 2 or a level 3 tuner, and then it can pair with one of our Conquistadors or something, but it's fine. Yep, so we summon everything out. We can reset Drill Beam, I assume. Yep, if once we get back Ether Barrel, but we'll just attack for game and kill them. GG, easy. Yeah, the extra deck was also a lot of fun to experiment with, because obviously it was looking for a lot of like tuners, sorry, synchro monsters that might pair with like a weird tuner. The Blackluster Soldier is a card that I really like. It sort of has gotten whatever outclassed by cards like Chaos Angel and so on. But you know, in this festival where it's light monsters and earth monsters because they want to have like Blue Eyes Primite being at full power, you know, there's a surprising amount of earth monsters that we really like. Obviously, Blackluster Soldier is really good. Link Spider is huge. Like, if we didn't have access to Link Spider for this festival, we'd have to totally rethink whether we even want to run this deck, but it allows you to link everything off. Okay. Fire Kings. We'll do the deck profile after, like, I think, like, the next duel, like, once we finish from the Primite version of things. We do, a downside to running Sci-Frame Gear Gamma is if you use it on your opponent's turn, which is the main reason you would want to use it, it does banish the normal monster, but again, all of our Eldlich traps become normal monsters, so our Primite engine is fine. The Fire King deck, basically, they were really hoping I would summon a monster, allowing Princess to pop the Amble Whale, which would get a whole bunch of effects going in their grave and their hand, but because Eldlich can non-targeting or targeting send a card to grave without destroying it, basically their entire turn is completely dead. They do have an Imperm, whatever, we probably thought that was what it was. Destroy them. I wonder if I'm going to set the Solo Hat Rabbit. Yep. Okay, Solo Hat Rabbit. So now we have a non-targeting Banish Engrave, destroy Karma Cannon. Now I did consider not doing this and just leaving Eldlich on the field, because as a fire deck, they might be able to run Ash Blossom, which would really suck. Yeah, here they made a huge mistake. They were supposed to banish this card from grave first in order to shuffle back their one of Poplar. So instead, they use Bonfire to add a normal summon to hand. So, and then they use that to add another normal summon to hand. But now their hand is 3 cards that require a normal summon, and 1 card is a spell that targeting destroys 1 card, which I don't care about. So I think they're hoping that I will summon a monster so they can summon out Promethean Princess, but whatever. They destroy Conquistador. I'm like, that's fine, go ahead. We're going to banish a card in their graveyard. In this case, we can actually banish that monster that they were going to try to special summon, because then it has an effect to destroy another card, which allows another card to special summon after it's destroyed. So we just cut off that entire chain completely. Okay, this is the last Primite variant. I will say, obviously, the pros of this deck are that you get this recursive Omni-Negate, which is huge because this festival banned transaction rollback, and because it's light and earths, we can't use something like Diabellstar the Witch, which is how we normally get like an Omni-Negate pretty easily. They banish the Eldlich Engrave, which kind of is a bummer, but alright. Non-targeting destroy, Primite Drill Beam, Trap Trick. Pretty typical 3 interruptions. It's enough for this festival. In this case, we destroy this guy, who has this slow effect to discard a card and then get working. But then they activate this, which is going to try to special summon him back. Drill Beam, negate and banish, goodbye. And there, yeah, you saw I was able to use Drill Beam because I had Conquistador, which is a level 5 normal monster. Very fun, very cool. Okay, let's do a deck profile for the Primite deck. So, yeah, in this deck, Sci-Frame Gear Gamma is a really powerful hand trap. The downside is that you have to run a normal monster with it usually. But in this case, we actually want to have a normal monster because the Primite engine, A, relies on having a normal monster on hand, in hand, or on the field in order to get a banish off. It also requires it be a normal monster somewhere so that your ether barrel can recur itself. And this card can special out a normal monster. So it's good to have a normal monster somewhere in your deck. And I thought about getting cute with some like cool like combos of like a level 2 or a level like maybe there's a level 12 synchro I can make or whatever. At the end of the day, I thought just having a card that's generically good as a hand trap was fine. And the only synchro monster we're running is Omega, which is this great level 8 monster. If they have some sort of a hand trapper monster effect that they activate on my turn. You activate Gamma, special out and destroy, and then you make Omega, who can like recur cards from the grave, who can rip cards from the hand. It's a solid choice. The Primite engine itself is 7 or 8 cards, depending on if you want 2 drill beams or just 1. I'm seeing a lot of people run 2 copies of drill beam because sometimes you just want to hard open it. Sometimes you want to be able to set it to your field and then, set it to your field for your opponent's turn and then activate it on your turn and so on and so on. So overall, kind of this 10-card little package. And then we have the standard Eldlich cards, 2 Eldliches. You never want 3 unless he's like a combo starter, like he is for the toy box variant. But you also want more than 1 in case he gets banished. And then we also have triple copies of Cursed Eldland. Maybe that's excessive in this more like almost pure version, but if I wasn't running 3 copies of Cursed Eldland, maybe I would run 2 plus a copy of Wannabe, or maybe 1 copy plus like 2 copies of Needle Sealing or something like that. But I thought it was fine for the festival. You want to get your Eldlich engine running, and it's a great card going second. Consistency cards, Pot of Extrav. We built our extra deck with a lot of duplicates so that you can banish cards and then have it not affect the plays that you're going to make in your extra deck. And then Pot of Duality, like you don't really need, this is a much closer to a pure variant, which means you usually run Pot of Duality. You're not going to special summon on your first turn, and going second, if they have a bunch of interruptions, then maybe you don't activate it. Whatever. And then we have the Trap Core, which is triple Torrential Tribute, triple Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon. These are the best traps in the game. Well, Karma Cannon is one of the best traps in the game, absolutely. And then Torrential Tribute is great in sort of a pure variant where it's about control, wipe your opponent's board. If you have Torrential or Karma Cannon plus Solemn Strike, you can break most boards in this format, certainly. Solemn Strike is obviously a great card going first. Going second, it's the main way that you're going to break boards that have Omni Negates, which we don't have to face Blue Eyes. Another great thing about being light in this triple variant festival is we don't have to face the strongest deck because we're on the same side as it. But if any other decks did have an Omni Negate, Solemn Strike would immediately kill it. And then double Trap Trick in order to give yourself access to all of your traps. Ice Dragon's Prison, there's a lot of decks like the Snake Eyes deck, or the Fire King deck rather, and Tearlements, which are kind of the strongest decks, I think, in the other attributes, and Ice Dragon's Prison is great against both of those. And then the rest of the Eldlich core is triple Eldlixir Scarlet Sanguine to special out from the deck. It's by far the best Eldlixir card. Triple Conquistador, double Huaquero, pretty standard combos. And then double Evenly Matched. Maybe you could trade it Evenly Matched for Cursed Eldland, but I think it's fine. This is a great going second tool. Both of these consistency cards means you're going to be able to see it a lot more consistently. And there aren't as many decks that have Omni Negates, so this can just win games pretty easily. For the extra deck, the best level 5 is Constellar Pallades. It's a light monster. And it's basically a double compulsory evacuation device. We don't have access to Chaos Angel because of the ban list for this festival, but this is the guy we've been using before. You can make these, you get a non-targeting bounce. In theory, after that, oops. Oh, okay. Clicking a bunch of random buttons, whatever. Let's see. Yeah, you make this, you get a bounce, you turn him into Zeus, or you just keep him on your turn because on your opponent's turn you want to bounce a card. It's great. Another card you could use that's a level 5 is, well, I guess I don't know because the ban list is rather specific, but I will say I only made this guy once out of like 10 or 11 duels, so the extra deck isn't super important. You can just kind of cobble together what you can. The trains are classic Eldlich cards. Again, I feel like they've kind of gotten leveled upon by like cards like Varudris and stuff, but this is the classic, make this, burn them for 2k, make this, detach a card, go up to 6k and kill them immediately, or you can use them to attack a whole bunch of times if they have like 4 or 5 monsters to destroy everything that they have. If they're all in attack mode, that's also just GG. And then you can make either of them into a 4 material Zeus, I think. 2, 3, yeah, 4 material Zeus if you don't detach any cards, or, you know, just Zeus at the end of it. Having access to Zeus is super powerful. Link Spider, it's really important. We don't have Imduck, but this is fine. All you want is to be able to link off like a Conquistador plus an Eldlich, and then you make Hat Rabbit, which means that you go from having Conquistador and Elixir in grave, giving you 1 interruption, to now Hat Rabbit gives you 2 interruptions. Plus your Eldlich is in grave, so he can special summon himself back out. Link Spider into Hat Rabbit is your main combo. It's fantastic. Other sort of generic staples, Blackluster Soldier, you get it basically for free from a structure deck. So he's really solid. Underworld Goddess, I never made her because anytime you have enough monsters to make her in a control deck like this, you've probably already won, so probably the least necessary. And then Nightmare Cerberus, again, this is a control deck, so you're never really wanting to discard cards, so the discard is probably worth more. Like, you're probably discarding like a Torrential Tribute in order to pop 1 monster, but I don't know, maybe it was going to be worth it. Overall, this is a really fun deck, cool to experiment with. All right, next, I've got another version of Dual Triangle, another Dual Triangle variant that I want to show off, which is a White Forest deck. Again, Diabellstar isn't allowed, the Azima cards aren't allowed, Rollback isn't allowed, so I'm not running a 60 card mill deck for this festival. Instead, it's just a 40 card White Forest Toy Box Eldlich deck. In this case, we do have to sacrifice Solemn Strike, and in the end, it's not worth it. They use 2 cards in hand to get double interruptions, but we still have a... Oh, wow, that was cool. Typhoon. Target a speller face-up speller trap on the field to destroy it. I will say, if this allowed you to target face-down spells and traps, I think a lot more people would be running it. But they take out the toy box, which is kind of a bummer, but we still have 1 interruption for their turn. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so the reason we're able to survive here is because they're running Dinomorphia, which is inherently a slower control deck. Probably, maybe I should have popped the Bestial Druisworm so I don't have to deal with it on the next turn, but whatever. Attack mode, destroy. They're going to fuse a couple times to get down below 2,000 life points, which is going to make it hard for me to activate monster effects. Yep, Rex turn is basically skill drain. Reset Toy Soldier, Special Toy Soldier. We have, yep, they activate the effects, and now Toy Soldier can't activate his effects. Okay, so we're actually in a bit of a pickle here. We have our Eldlich cards. Eldlich has 3,800 defense, so they can't kill us yet. They don't even bother attacking Toy Soldier, which is interesting. They're activating their cards. Summon out another Eldlich, sure, why not? Is this limited to 1? No, okay. So we have to be careful about... Oh, I was running the Light Charmer in this variant. I meant to cut her and replace her with Link Spider. I do that eventually, but in this case, we're able to get rid of all their monsters thanks to the Underworld Goddess. We've gotten Dinomorphia, Rexterm in the grave a couple of times. We're not able to negate Kentragina, though. They do have an Imperm. And she also just can chain her effect to activate. I wonder if they only have 1 copy of Rexterm because they keep just summoning him back from the deck, the graveyard, rather. Okay, an Omni Negate. They keep activating the effect to lower their attack. Chaos Angel, targeting Banish. They get rid of Toy Box, which is good because they can't destroy cards. Underworld Goddess was immune to the effect to reduce her attack points, which means that I'm able to stay alive a little longer. Alright, now here we go. Eldlich activate its effect, get rid of Toy Box. Conquistador is going to be able to destroy the Rex term. We chain it so that Toy Soldier finally activates as an effect to get another Toy Box. We banish Kentragina from grave, so they have to summon out some level 4 monster we don't care about. Activates an effect to grab a trap. Constellar Pallades, thank you. Bounce the Chaos Angel, pop, pop. Banish a card, special summon. So they're putting a lot of traps in the graveyard. First to be able to fuel them, being able to special summon over and over. But now we make a Zeus. We use Toy Box to reset everything. So now Zeus is going to be able to activate a bunch of Toy Box effects when he, does his thing. Yep, Zeus, end phase, everything's gone, but we do also get follow-up. So yeah, they're just done, GG. So a little bit of a slower duel at first, but usually the slower duels are the ones where you get to see you go into your bag of tricks more, like all the different weird cards in your extra deck that, don't come up a ton. And it's like, if you don't win in your first turn, then maybe you're more likely to actually see them. So it's fun to show off. All right, here we have full White Forest combo, plus an Eldlich card, which is mostly a, interruption for their turn. Let's see what they do. Yeah, I really hope that they make White Forest a pack that you can spend gems to draw cards from soon. I obviously got all of my White Forest cards while it was a pack, so it was relatively cheap. But now you have to hard craft all of the cards. So I see some people wanting to try White Forest Eldlich, saying it's gotten a lot more expensive now that they have to hard craft everything. So that feels bad. Okay, first we're going to use Tales of the White Forest because it's a free resource. Well, we used up a curse called by the grave, I guess, so that's not terrible. Toy Box, get a couple more resources. Yeah, especially in this light festival, Toy Box is great. Okay, Droll Lockbird does suck. That is a major interruption. They're absolutely popping off here. Actually, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to be able to beat this. And then they use the trap to destroy 5 cards. Luckily, Toy Box is able to special summon himself out, and then Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, which is a card I guess I didn't run in my other variant for some reason, destroys their entire field, and he makes Zeus. So that's a great thing about Exciton Knight, is if I was running just Constellar Pallades, then I would have attacked some card and made Zeus, but then I have nothing for their turn. But because I made Exciton Knight first to destroy all cards in the field, then I was able to make Zeus and have an interruption for their turn too. We also have a Trap Trick. In this case, I think I'm only running Karma Cannon. I'm not also running... I wasn't also running Torrential Tribute or anything like that, so Trap Trick wasn't as strong because I would have used Trap Trick to make a Karma Cannon that flips everything, including Zeus, or I would have made Zeus, which sends Trap Trick to grave. So instead I just used Trap Trick to get follow-up for the next turn, like a trap that's going to recur itself. Whatever. Going first. Yeah, another downside to running White Forest Eldlich is you start using your White Forest cards, and yeah, people immediately surrender. So, whatever. White Forest, full combo. Lucia special summon herself out before we lose a card. And this is another card that I like to run in White Forest, which is Visa's Starfrost, or Visa's Amit whatever. Basically, instead of making the level 8 White Forest monster to recur a spell or trap, a lot of times I would make her, and there would be no spell or traps in my grave worth grabbing. So it's really nice to also have this guy who can just grab an Omni Negate. I feel like an Omni Negate is better than a spell trap that you're not planning to use. Whatever. Now that I've used both of my Toy Box cards, I can use Toy Box to get some recurable resources, get a draw, special summon out LZ because they used Dominus or whatever to negate LZ, but now she's on the field. If this was a normal White Forest deck, I would then make like Baronne de Fleur, so that goes into 2 Omni Negates. Great stuff. I don't know if you saw, but I'm currently at Master 3 right now. I climbed from whatever Diamond 5 to Master 3 using a 60 card White Forest Eldlich deck. I'll probably make a video about that at some point, but with the festival and with other stuff, it didn't feel. I'll talk about that later. Okay, so White Forest, and Toy Box, full combo. The Eldlich cards are mostly just as like an extra interruption that you can also like send to grave as a resource. Rucia grabs this, grabs that, get a draw 1. Sure, why not? Okay, now we have another LZ. Yeah. Yep, make Visas again to get the Omni Negate. A couple White Forest cards. In this case, it's mostly just fuel for the following turn. They got rid of the Omni Negate, so it's not worth using. Especially because if I use it, then it goes to the grave. But by not using it, it gets shuffled into the deck, so I can search it out again. Okay, they do that. They fuse. Relying really heavily on Trap Trick here. Kaleido Heart. So they went for the Trap Trick. In this case, we grabbed Karma Cannon. And this is a cool trick you can use with Karma Cannon and White Forest cards. So Sylvie activates her effect. She's negated because she special summoned herself from the grave. But we can then use Karma Cannon, which flips her face down, which means she's no longer a negated face-up monster. She's just a face-down monster, not negated, and she can get a search off. Great. We mostly end their turn. They used both of their fusions, I'm pretty sure. Maybe they only used 1 fusion. Okay. Vampire Zombie. They grab some random monster, but they can make SP Little Knight. Yeah, so full power Tearlements. Well, not full power, but pretty close to it. They make a Typhon. They bounce Visas. That was not a good idea. End phase. Okay. So first we're going to send Toy Box to grave. Toy Soldier specials itself for a Toy Box. We make another Visas, thank you very much. Less than 3,000 attack, so he's not negated by Typhon. Omni Negate. Draw 2, we don't even care about Typhon. Destroy both of those cards, special out Toy Box. Specials out Rucia, gets a draw 1 for free. Then we're going to make her. She can attack and do piercing damage. Feels like that probably wasn't an optimal way to play that. I just have way too many like normal summons or cards that can't get searches off anymore. So, whatever. Destroy a card, let them banish, we don't care. They're just trying to get rid of our Omni Negate at this point. We used Vanadium Reframing. Unfortunately, we don't get the Destroy effect because King Sark protects him. I definitely feel like I made some sort of misplay there. But we kept Solemn Strike for Dingirsu, which was really important. He would have been indestructible and made their whole field indestructible. Grab a Cursed Eldland to get an interruption on their turn. Here I think I also missed the timing. Like, I should have waited until they activate the effect to fuse before I make Silvera, because then they would summon out Kakalos, who gets a search, but then it doesn't get the ability to flip any cards over. Whatever, we have a ton of follow-up. It's main phase 2, we'll be fine. They grab Scream to get a mill 11, like 5, 3, 3. Yep. Man, that's crazy. At mill 11, but it doesn't seem to do anything. They've used too many resources, I guess. Eldlich cards, all activate effects. Speaking of things that are crazy. Feels like I could just, let's see what they grab. Is it going to be... Okay, so they grab a spell card, which all that does is it gives them a draw 1. Silvera, she's going to flip everything face down, or at least she would, but they had the Omni Negate. Whatever. Silvera's not once per turn, so we can just hard make her and flip everything again. They still have their SP Little Knight, but everyone else is out of the way. We do that mostly just to send a card to grave, blacklist or soldier, banish, destroy, or destroy then banish. Yeah, he's a really nice tool. Summon her. Let's get a Diabell Star, get the Omni Negate back. Yeah, nice. And let's take out let's take out the King Sarcophagus too. Yeah, so I definitely feel like on turn 4 I made some misplays, but on turn 6 we just had so much gas, like there was nothing they could do. Interruptions for days, interruptions keep coming back. And against like a pretty powerful Tearlement deck, which is able to deal with, like, they have a lot of grind game as well. Alright, I think this is the last White Forest deck from the festival that I have. Okay, going first. Oh yeah, another cool card you can run in this festival is Nibiru. It's another thing where it's one of the strongest hand traps in the game. If you're not running it, why not? So Karmic Cannon, Solemn Strike, and basically a second Karmic Cannon that also like searches cards. So there, yeah, Solemn Strike on the level 3 XYZ. They use a card to get Gazelle. Once they have the materials to make another level 3, I'm just going to Karmic Cannon them. Or I would, but they negated that. So then they use the other card, which is a Karmic Cannon. Okay, so we can make Soul Hat Rabbit to get a little bit of Eldlich Engine. Or we can just do that and go full White Forest combo. Okay. Rucia can special summon herself out. They banish the level 2 card, which really sucks, but whatever. We'll grab LZ, but we don't have any spells or traps to send. Special summon herself out, make visas, get the Omni Negate. I can actually use LZ now by sending the Omni Negate as material, because Diabell is going to be able to grab the Omni Negate back. Great. Special summon another card. Yeah, I kind of wanted to make Blackluster Soldier, but I need to have one of those cards be the Synchro. We can just make Soul Hat Rabbit, though, because we've got Conquistador, we've got the Huaquero from last turn, so now we've got an Omni Negate, non-targeting Destroy, and a Nibiru. Versus one card in hand, yeah. Yeah, no, they were toast. Yeah, she's defeated. Okay. Yeah, so that was also a lot of fun. Let's see what the White Forest deck looks like. So obviously the Eldlich core is pretty similar. Triple Conquistador, triple Eldlixir, double Huaquero. In this case, we actually run 3 copies of Eldlich, because like I was saying, in a toy box variant, you do want to have all 3 copies of Eldlich, because Eldlich plus any toy box card basically means full combo. Like you're able to make a level 4, and get a search off for a light monster, which sometimes means just like you're grabbing your Sylvie to search out Tails, which allows you to get LZ, which allows you to send your other toy box card to special summon. So yeah, full combo that way. In the more general variant, you're also able to like search out like a a light barrier statue plus making Baguska, but we don't have access to those extra deck cards. But yeah, triple Eldlich is good. Other trap cards, we still have triple Karmic Cannon because it works with our deck. We don't have Torrential Tribute or other cards because we care more about the grind game and resources that the White Forest engine gives you. But we also have Solemn Strike as a super powerful interruption going first and second. We also have this fun Vanadium Reframing card, which paired up with Visa's Armitara is this great Omni Negate that you are able to recur super easily using Diabell, or just like you search it off. You can make lots of good Synchro cards. There's probably a good level 10 light attribute Synchro monster that I didn't grab, but I guess I couldn't find it or couldn't think of it, and this ended up being fine for the extra deck for this festival. But yeah, Vanadium Reframing, a really cool little tech card. Double Trap Trick for consistency. Triple Cursed Eldland, because again, Eldlich plus a toy box is basically full combo. We also are running Nibiru. It's a light hand trap, which is super powerful, and we don't have a ton of hand traps in this deck. We more like let our opponent do whatever they want and then defeat them. And then Triple Tactics Talent. There's a decent number of hand traps, although I will say the most common hand trap that I ran into, especially you saw in those last set of duels, was the Dominus card. That is a trap, not a monster, which means that we don't get to activate talents, but it's a nice card to have. And then the standard White Forest cards, triple LZ, you've seen plenty of replays in other videos where a single LZ plus a spell or trap is just like absolutely annihilates your opponent. She sends and searches and special summons. Then we also have Sylvie, which is the main card you normal summon in order to search out either tails to like continue your combo rolling, or if they activated like a Maxi or something, then you'll search out your woes as a follow-up for your opponent's turn, which woes pairs really well with all of our trap cards. Rusia is just like a second tuner because sometimes you'll have one, you want to special out the other. It gives you a second body in the grave to special summon out to make more synchro plays on your opponent's turn, or as follow-up for your next turn. Gets you a draw one, so it's good. And then one copy of Estelar is just this extra card that can also like special summon out from grave. Because we don't have access to dark monsters, I'm not running the level 2 that special summons itself from hand, and we're not running like the Diabell Star package or the Zima package. So, like, honestly, like, I think that Eldlich might be, like, I guess I don't know what other engines people run with this, like, maybe just, like, they have a bunch of hand traps or something, but Eldlich might be the strongest variant of White Forest in this, little festival. I guess I don't know what other people are running, but I thought it was really strong. Let's see. Yeah, so that's the White Forest cards. Toy Box, it's basically this little engine or package, whatever, that gives you access to spell traps that become monsters. So it just gives you a lot of resources and grind game, which I thought was really useful. You typically set up like 3 interruptions for your turn going first. Between Eldlich and some of your other cards, you're able to go second pretty well. All right, extra deck. No Pot of Extrab, so no copies of cards that like multiple copies, but this is the standard White Forest card. Sylvie is like an interruption. Rusia is sort of your going first engine card that sends a spell or trap to grave, but also like gets your searches off. And then Diabell the Queen is going to be your card that recurs resources. You could send a Vanadium Reframing and grab it back, or you can grab a Solemn Strike, you could grab a Karma Cannon. Another reason why Diabell Star pairs well with sort of a trap variant of Eldlich is because your traps suddenly become a lot more recursive. In terms of extra deck cards, we're running Evil Swarm Exciton Knight because obviously in the other variant we didn't have level 4 monsters, but now with Toy Box it's super easy. Make level 4 monsters. It's a great going second card because you just destroy the entire field, assuming you've blown through all your interruptions, attacks once and makes himself into a Zeus for an interruption on your opponent's turn. Another card, Constellar Pallades. Obviously, if you have a couple of Eldlich cards, you want to have some way to make an interruption. Although, if you have an Eldlich plus 2 of these, you might also just make Blackluster Soldier, which is a great resource for banishing an opponent's card. It's untargetable, indestructible. I really like it. And then if you have 2 Eldliches, you also might go into the rail cannons, but if you have both Eldliches, you're probably going to be able to hit over whatever they have anyways, but I really like them. Zeus, obviously, Typhon's a dark monster, can't make it. Link Spider, you really want to have this if you just have your Eldlich engine, like just an Eldlich plus a Waquero, Link Spider, Silhouette Rabbit, and suddenly you have went from just an Eldlich and like one of these cards to now it's in your graveyard, and you've set another one, which means you have full combo for next turn. So Link Spider into Silhouette Rabbit has been a huge upgrade for Eldlich over the last month or two. Blackluster Soldier, you see me use it a couple times. It's nice removal. I also have Celine. I don't think I really ever made her. I mostly use Celine to grab Magician's Souls or a Diabell Star to get a search off from having milled them to grave or something, or to add cards to hand, whatever. In this case, theoretically, you could use them to special out an Estelar or something, but, you know, I just usually would make Blackluster Soldier or something like that. And then Underworld Goddess, it can come up occasionally as a going second card. This variant makes her a lot more frequently because you have a lot more like small bodies that you might actually want to make into a big, unaffected, negate all cards your opponent controls body. But yeah, that's been the White Forest variant of the Dual Triangle. I had a lot of fun with this festival. Obviously, I'll keep playing it over the next couple days, but hopefully you saw some variants that you think are interesting, and I'll be excited to hear your thoughts on other decks going forward. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.